Good afternoon. How we doing out there, everybody? Hey, this is Kerry with How Do We Get There podcast. Hey, it's been a while since we've been out. We've been out here in these streets putting out a podcast. I want to apologize for myself for being not putting out the podcast like we promised you all that we would on a weekly basis. But hey, we're back in the saddle. I think we got all of our technical difficulties finally figured out. But hey, we're here on today. Just excited to be back out here. To tell you all, hey, it's gonna be okay. To let you all know that we're going to get there. And on this podcast, I want to make sure that we have a solid foundation of making sure that we do things the right way in order to be successful. In the past, I did a lot of things halfway. I didn't do things all the way to the fullest. But now, the older I'm getting, the more detail oriented that I'm getting, and I want to make sure that everything I do it the proper way. And as I last told you on the last podcast, that we'll be doing some things differently here in the upcoming year on the way that we post, all of the things that we will be doing to get exposure, not just to my businesses, but to other local businesses. Because I believe that if you build a strong ecosystem around you, then things will not just get better for you, but it'll get better for all the people that are involved in your life. On today, my beautiful wife is not here on today. She had to work. And as you all know, COVID is not going anywhere. I was listening to NPR the other morning when I was on my way home from taking my daughter to school, and they were talking about a new variant of Omicron that they call it Omicron's little sister. It's just as aggressive as Omicron is, and it's causing just as many sicknesses. The numbers haven't leveled off. I think a lot of the health specialists and a lot of the people like the CDC and people in that manner are saying that, they thought numbers would spike and then they would ease back down after the holidays. Well, I think that's didn't happen, but I think they're going to continue to move up until we decide as a community that we're going to do something about it. And one of my businesses is I own a COVID remediation business. So I go out and, if someone has, let's just tell you how it started. Let's say it was April? April, Gabby? We say April 2020? April 2020, it was like a month or so after, everything started shutting down, would be when I started. I went out, just went to the store. I started watching videos on what other countries, meaning mostly China, where they say the variant, where they say COVID started. So I started watching videos about what they were doing, to fight it. So, I'm watching the videos and I started seeing the same things. I started seeing the machinery that they were using, the foggers that they were using to try to fight it. And so what I did was I went out and I bought first thing that I bought was I bought a kind of a leaf blower, but it had a mister component to it. So I bought that, and I bought some chemicals, and what I did was I went to one of my friends' churches. Shout out to Pastor Wesley Childers from True Bread Church. He allowed me to come to his church, and I shot a video of me cleaning and fogging his church. And from that video, I've been busy ever since. That one video that I did. That's why it's important about content. It's important that we document all the things that we do. So I made that one video, and from making that one video, I've been busy all the time. I've constantly, I have churches, I have event spaces that call me to come out and sanitize their buildings. I would say in the past, it's almost be coming up on 2 years pretty soon. The Lord has blessed my business in this season. I know there's a lot of people who've lost loved ones. There's a lot of people who are sick, and you know what? I feel bad, because sometimes I think I'm capitalizing off of other people's misery, but as me as a businessman, I just see it as I'm just capitalizing on an opportunity. So once I bought that first machine, I used it maybe a month. After I did that video, I had my first customer within the next week. I was doing the Catholic churches. I was doing those churches 2 times a week. No, once or twice a week I was doing the Catholic church because they were still having services and masses. So they called me in, and I was coming in maybe once or twice a week, coming in, taking care of their facilities. Well, after that, then I'd ordered some other machinery, and it took about 2 months for the machinery that I'd ordered to come in. So, I got very frustrated using, because that was a big heavy backpack sprayer, and man, it was work putting that thing on and taking it off, and then and it was gas powered. I think that piece of machinery is for commercial settings like your warehouses and things of that nature. But it did the job. It got me to where I am today. Just going ahead and purchasing that piece of machinery. So what I did was I bought that machine, then I bought one more, and then I bought 2 more, and then I bought 3 more. So right now, I probably have about 5 different fogging machines that I use, but there's only one that I basically use all the time. I have I have like 3 electrostatic foggers. I have 3 cold foggers, and then I have the one backpack fogger that I haven't used in probably a year and a half. I haven't used that machine because I haven't had to do any type of commercial applications, big commercial applications with that. But I will say that that investment of going ahead and buying that machine I think I paid like $550 for that piece of equipment. And then the next piece is, because when I bought this equipment, it was kind of like at the height, of COVID-19, where, we really didn't know what we were going to do, what the public was going to do. People were just starting to get back out. But a majority of the work that I was doing then was mostly, I was going into a lot of homes. People were getting COVID, and then they would call me in. I would go inside their homes. Of course, I would suit up in my all of my PPEs, goggles, booties, gloves. I mean, I looked like the Ghostbusters when I would go into homes or go into businesses and clean them. So, but I had a lot of people that kept calling me back. So I was doing their facilities on a regular basis. What I noticed was, the prices that I had to charge, people couldn't afford to pay me to come and do their facilities on every week. So what I did was I identified some key metrics. that I was using, identify some machinery that I used and the equipment that I used and all the tools that I used to let's say to fight this disease. And what I did was I noticed it, and so I put together some packages. I put together the packages to try to help churches to do this on their own. Speed up till today. So today I was in Kroger's. Right now, I think we're thinking that we might get a little snow on today. So I was in Kroger's picking up a few groceries, and while I was in the store, this gentleman came up to me, and he said, "Hey, you remember me?" So you know how it is when you got your mask on. So I pulled my mask and he pulled his down. I said, "Oh, hey, how you doing, brother? I haven't seen you since, such and such a day." Well, this particular brother that I seen was one of the churches that I sold one of my packages to, where I put together, identified the machinery, the quant, I guess you would say a quant, that's what they call the disinfectant solution that I used, and all the supplies that they would need, the gloves, the N95 mask, all the things that I identified that I say, okay, this will work. So I did that, and then I went to their church. They had about 5 or 6 guys there in the church that they identified that was going to help. So they brought them in. And so I trained them on how to use the machinery. I trained them on how to go in and wipe off all high touch areas. I showed them how to use the machinery, how to fog the church, and how to make sure that they did all of these things properly. Well, they did that. This was probably about 8 months ago. Now, this is not the only church. I think it was like 3 or 4 churches that done this with me. And, but, it made me smile on the inside, when this brother came up to me and told me, said, "Hey, man, we appreciate what you did. How you came in, you taught us everything that we needed to do, and the saints are happy. The people are safe." And all we're doing is we're just adding a level of comfort, peace of mind to people. And that's all, that's really what we're doing. We're not saying that what we do, COVID won't come around, but what we're doing is we're adding a peace of mind. We're adding an extra layer of safety. And you know what? I'm going to say this. If you have a church or an event space or a business and you're not doing anything to sanitize and clean your business, you're being very reckless. You're being reckless with the public. You're being reckless with the people who trust that you're doing the right things by them. And, some people may say that, I'm being harsh when I say that, but I'm saying that from a pure heart. You should do everything that you possibly can to make sure that you keep the public safe. And that's what the goal of All Trust in Them remediation services. I'll be, in the next week, I'll be putting out a program for all the churches, for all event spaces owners, or if you as a homeowner, to where you can go online. You'll be able to go online in the comfort of your home. You'll be able to go online and you'll be able to go go to my course, download the course, consume the content, and once you consume the content, you'll know exactly what you need to do to keep your family safe, to keep your parishioners safe, to keep your customers safe. I've identified the machinery, all the machinery that you'll need. Also, I've identified all of the tools, the N95 mask, the gloves, the wipes, everything that you'll need to keep your facility clean and safe and sanitized for the public to consume. And I would say this will probably one of the smartest things I've done. And I'm not the smartest guy you ever gonna come across, but this one thing